So the final objective of this section is to transform between polar and rectangular forms. And by that I mean polar and rectangular equations. What we're building up to in section 8.2 is how to graph these functions. So we need to know how to transform between polar and rectangular forms. So let's transform the equation r equals 4 cosine of theta from polar coordinates to rectangular coordinates and identify the graph. So our key trick to this is to substitute what we know. So what do we know that relate polar coordinates, or polar things like r and theta, to rectangular coordinates such as x and y? Well, let's look at our toolbox down here. I've got x squared plus y squared is r squared. Remember, that's the equation for a circle. I have x is r cosine theta, and y is r sine theta. So I have r equals 4 cosine theta. Well, that doesn't look like any of these perfectly, but if I multiplied both sides by r, I'd have an x I could substitute in. So we're going to multiply both sides by r, and this is going to be a trick that we will use many times in the next section, multiplying both sides by r. Instead of squaring it, because you don't want to square this, that'd be kind of messy, and we got to bring identity rules in, let's just multiply both sides by r. So I got r squared is 4r cosine theta, and our goal is to get rid of all of the r's, all the thetas. So I have 4x is x squared plus y squared. Now, what does this graph look like? Well, this is going to be a circle, and let me show you how. We're going to focus on this more in section 8.1. But if I have x squared minus 4x plus y squared equals 0, I can use completing the square. So friendly reminder, complete the square. To get this in the correct form, so I have x, minus 4 divided by 2 plus 4, x minus 2 squared plus y squared equals 2. So this is a circle whose center is 2, 0. Remember, going back to circles where our center is hk, when I've got x squared minus h plus y squared minus k is r squared, right? hk is our center. And our radius is going to be the square root of 2. So this would be a circle. Next, let's transform the equation 4xy equals 16 from rectangular coordinates to polar coordinates. So I have 4xy equals 16. Well, I know x is r cosine theta, y is r sine theta. So I have 4r cosine theta, r sine theta equals 16. I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides by 4. No, I'm not. I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have 4r squared cosine theta sine theta equals 16. Next, I'm going to factor out a 2r squared. Because if I do that, then I have 2 cosine theta sine theta, which is the double angle formula. So I can substitute 2r squared is sine of 2 theta is 16. Divide both sides by 2. I get r squared sine of 2 theta equals 8. So that's how we convert from rectangular coordinates to polar coordinates. And don't forget all those trig laws we've learned along the way.